I want to acknowledge some of the extraordinary leaders behind me. Congressman Dan Maffei, who's been focused on economic growth his entire career. Our Mayor Stephanie Miner, who has a vision for this city to make sure we create jobs and grow our economy. Charles Canali, the chairman of the Syracuse Community Health Center Board of Directors. Deb Warner, the Center State CEO, Vice President, Public Policy and Government Relations. Assemblyman Bill Magnarelli, Assemblyman Al Sturpey, Dr. Reuben Cowart, founder, president, and CEO of the Syracuse Community Health Center. Andy Burr, principal of Huber Burr. Lou Box, project manager. Dave Johnson, partner of King & King Architects. So thank you all for joining us this morning. All across New York, at places just like this former metal processing facility, you can see that the footprint of our state's manufacturing tradition that powered us through the 20th century, with our large manufacturers leading the way. But as the Industrial Revolution came and went, jobs taken away with it, contaminated land has been left behind where our factories once stood. These abandoned sites, known as brownfields, are home to so much potential to help our economy grow today. But before they can be home to new businesses and new jobs, they have to be cleaned up first. There are between 450,000 and 1 million abandoned contaminated sites around the country. Redeveloping our brownfield sites is a proven, effective way to revitalize communities and boost the economy through private investment and business development, job creation, community development, and overall quality of life in the area. Though through assessing and cleaning up blighted, contaminated, or abandoned sites, communities are able to redevelop them into usable, livable areas that can drive new economic growth and job creation. Across New York, I've seen these efforts firsthand, and I know the promise of future development that is within our reach. Today, I'm announcing a new effort to help redevelop sites like this across the country through a bill called the Brownfields Utilization Investment and Local Development Act, the BUILD Act. It's a bipartisan piece of legislation that I think can be passed this year. It works by strengthening the Brownfields program by providing additional tools and resources to communities working to redevelop brownfields. Specifically, the bill recognizes that the cost of cleaning up past contamination is a barrier to bringing brownfield sites back into markets by increasing the funding ceiling for cleanup grants and allowing funds to be used also for administrative costs. It allows for multi-purpose grants that will speed redevelopment by streamlining and increasing certainty on the cleanup process. It expands eligibility for site assessment grants to not-for-profit organizations. Currently, not-for-profits and community-based organizations are eligible for cleanup grants, but not the assessment grants. It also allows local governments to apply for site assessment grants for properties that were acquired by a community before the creation of the Brownfields program. The provision of the BUILD Act would also allow more brownfields to be evaluated for contamination without eliminating the local government's liability to clean up the site. The legislation includes a section on waterfront brownfield sites, a bill that I introduced last year. This provision would authorize grants to address the needs that are unique to waterfront sites, including wetlands, dredged materials, flooding, and the environmental infrastructure and navigation needs. Makes clean energy projects at brownfield sites eligible for funding, including facilities that will generate electricity from wind, solar, and geothermal. These are the kinds of smart investments that we can make in our communities all across New York to attract new businesses and create new jobs, transforming our former industrial areas into places for New Yorkers to work, play, and raise a family. And with the leaders behind me, I know that we will achieve this result.